Okay, in this video, we are going to go from standard form to vertex form. And the way I like to think about this is first, we need to know what is standard form. Standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. And vertex form, you could write it as a parentheses x minus h close parentheses squared plus k. So you're going from this form to this form. And this is the procedure that I would use. Step 1 says factor the leading coefficient from the quadratic and linear term. So this term right here is the quadratic term because this piece is squared. So quadratic squared. This bx, this piece is going to be our linear term. So it says factor the leading coefficient from quadratic and linear term. So we're going to factor out the quadratic. So we're going to factor out the a piece. And again, we're going to do a concrete problem. Step 2 says perform completing the square for a linear term. Step 3 says balance the equation. And then step 4 says write trinomial as a perfect square and simplify. So let's begin. So step 1 says factor the leading coefficient from quadratic and linear term. So this is our quadratic term, and this is our leading coefficient too. So instead of writing it like this, what we're going to do is write it as 2 parentheses. 2 times what gives you 2x squared. 2 times x squared gives you 2x squared. Plus 2 times what gives you 4x. 2 times 2x is 4x plus 6. So that is step 1. We factor out the leading coefficient from the quadratic and linear term. Step 2 says perform completing the square for the linear term. So this right here is our linear term. So what we're going to do is write this. 2 parentheses x squared plus 2x plus parentheses. We take our coefficient for our linear term and we divide it by 2 and then we square it. And then we can close our parentheses plus 6. Now this is called completing the square. If you're not familiar with completing the square, definitely watch a video on completing the square. Okay, step 3 says balance the equation. So if you notice between this piece and this piece, we just randomly added this piece. You can't do that in math unless you cancel it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a subtraction minus. Now we had this piece right here. So we're not just doing 2 divided by 2 squared because there's a 2 in front and this is being applied to even to this piece. So we need to consider that. So we're going to say minus 2 parentheses 2 divided by 2 close parentheses squared. This takes into account this piece because of this, and it takes into account of this piece. So now our equation is balanced. So now we just got to clean it up a little bit. So I'm kind of just going to rewrite it. 2 parentheses x squared plus 2x. Now 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 1 squared is 1 times 1, which we get 1. Close parentheses plus 6. Again, 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1, but we have a 2 in front, so minus 2. Now think about this again. So if you're not clear, this is 2 times 1, which is 2, positive 2, and this is negative 2, so it canceled out. Okay, our fourth step says write trinomial as a perfect square and simplify. So that's where we're doing this thing right here. We're doing parentheses x minus a number squared. That's what we're going to do right now. So we're going to say 2 parentheses. We'll put our x. And we think to ourselves, what number times itself gives you 1, but adds up to give you 2? Well, 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. And if that's not clear, again, I'll put a playlist video of factoring. So that should help. Plus 6 minus 2 is 4. Now this right here is our answer in vertex form. And that's pretty much it for this video.